Hello, my name is Dr. Radhika. This is the spiritual psychologist. We have Luna sitting here next to me. We're going to dive into this episode into talking about fear. Every single person that you admire, the person that you look on Instagram, the person who is blowing up on YouTube, whoever it might be, right? The person that you admire because of the depth of their work and the energy they show up in. Every single one of these women, these leaders, have walked and continue to walk with fear. Not one of them has always waited until they are ready in order to move. They have learnt how to dance with fear. They have learnt to sit and work with the somatic emotion and responses that arise in the body alongside taking action. Fear is actually not the problem. It is the meaning that you give it that is the issue. If you make every feeling of fear in your body wrong, then you are never going to move forward to the things that you are desiring to create in your life, in your business, in your work, in your service to others. You are listening to this and you probably have a deep passion. You probably have a vision. You have a desire for more wealth, more impact, maybe a larger following on Instagram, whatever it is, a bigger home. You have a vision for more. It's not necessarily about the items, right? It's not necessarily about the materialistic things or the ego of a number. It is about the fact that you know that you have the capacity within you to activate something deeper and more profound in your life. And alongside that journey, you are going to have to be more visible. You are going to have to be seen in the truth of who you are. And with that is going to come fear. Your past experiences of fear may have been this awful experience of being scared by an attack or by somebody who reprimanded you or activated this deep sense of shame within you. This can then be associated with all experiences that activate the same response in your body, right? So if you are going to meet the edge and invest in something, that may bring in a similar response to awful fear experiences that you had in your earlier years. But it's not the same experience, right? So your body doesn't always know the difference between whether you're safe or not. And you can feel this deep sense of fear in your body, even though you know that you are safe. It's the same response. Your nervous system is having a similar response, right? In that stretch of yourself. And by no means am I comparing a deep traumatic experience here with the fear, for example, of making a move in your business. They're two completely different experiences, but what you have experienced in your earlier life will go on to impact on the somatic responses that you are having in your body in future decisions that you make. I remember when I ran the Academy of Healing the first time round, and I was really leading from a place of a little bit of martyrdom, to be honest, and this fear of I am going to be judged so much by people if my prices are too high. This came up for me so strongly, and so I made myself small under the guise of I'm offering scholarship places and a tiered payment system, and so therefore I am good. I'm not sure what this green light is here, but we will go with it. So I made myself in some ways so small in order to not have to meet the fear of that judgment that other people may have of me. In that process, I did not, as a result, meet my own financial needs. I did not pour into my financial wealth. I did not pour into stabilizing myself financially. And I did not pour into myself for the level of what I provided in the container. I've built a container where you get a whole year of training, but you also get coaching support, embodiment journeys, business support, personal transformation, right? All in one container. And I was sitting in the fear of judgment, and it prevented me from charging the prices that actually felt more aligned. So because I didn't face that fear, right? I didn't want to meet it, and I was so scared. I maintained a story, right? Our subconscious is so clever. I maintained a story about I'm a good person, right? My prices are lower, so therefore I'm a good person. Even if it doesn't meet my needs, and even if I started feeling some resentment as well. And I remember this powerful moment when I spoke to a dear friend of mine, and he said to me, if you take away all this pressure off your shoulders around the pricing, what would actually feel really good in your body as a price? Straight away, I knew the number. And in that moment, something shifted. My vision, the codes or the message that came through for me from spirit in that moment was so strong. And I decided to then scrap my pricing, even though it had only been there for like 2 months or something like that, and create pricing that was actually deeply aligned. So what I did was I met and I danced with the fear that arose. I had to meet then in putting my price up, which felt so good in my body to do that, to finally honor myself. I had to sit with, what if this person judges me? What if that person judges me? What if people think I'm bad? What if people think I'm not decolonized enough, or whatever it might be? And I took the action anyway. I danced with the fear rather than allowing it to cripple me and stop me from taking action. In that moment, my vision for the future version of myself became so much stronger than the fear that was existing in my body. In that moment, the power of that fear dissipated. It no longer had control over me because I was choosing my vision over the fear. When you have a sense of fear in your body, when you have the somatic response of fear in your body, it is a nervous system response. It has nothing to do with how qualified you are. It has nothing to do with how incredible you are as a person. It has nothing to do with your capacity to do this work. When people experience fear in their body, they automatically think, I'm not ready. What that fear in your body is showing you is actually, my body does not know the safety for that experience yet. My body does not know the safety for that experience yet. So for example, if you're calling in greater wealth into your life and you suddenly have this big financial month, right? And you suddenly start making a load of money. Or here's a great example, you win the lottery, right? If you have no idea how to manage money, and with £20, let alone £20 million, your body is still going to respond in the same way. So there is nervous system capacity work here to do to create safety for the experience that you are calling in. So that you know that it is safe in your body to hold that experience, that you aren't going to sabotage it, that actually you can trust yourself. And in order to build that nervous system safety and capacity, we actually need to stretch ourselves. We actually need to stretch ourselves to move us closer to the vision that we are calling in. We need to stretch ourselves like this, like a rubber band stretching out, right? or a balloon getting bigger. And you don't have to do it in one go. You can do it little bit by little bit. Sometimes the most liberating thing to do is to just take the plunge, right? Rather than holding back. But we need to learn to stretch ourselves gradually, so that we're actually indicating to our nervous system that it is safe to hold an experience. It is safe to hold pleasure. It is safe to hold joy. It is safe to feel what is coming up in your body. It's safe to be in loving, healthy relationships. All of those things might not be known in your body yet, and you have to learn how to make those experiences feel safe. And fear becomes leadership when you don't run away from the edges, but you meet the edges of your expansion. You recognize that fear is actually a sign that you are in growth, that you are in that expansion. And I say this with obviously a little bit of a trigger warning, that I'm not talking about entering, for example, unhealthy, abusive relationships, right? I'm talking about fear that comes with soul expansion, fear that comes with, I really want to do this thing, and I'm feeling this deep call within me, and with that comes along some actions which are going to require me to be seen, or are going to require me to say yes to myself. Fear becomes leadership when you are able to meet the fear that's arising in your body with compassion rather than shame. Fear is going to become leadership when you start to understand and work with the cues of your body, knowing when something is just feeling way too much and when something is feeling like a stretch, but it's not going to completely destabilize you. Fear is an initiation into self-trust. Can you trust your own decisions in spite of what everybody around you is saying? Can you trust the pull that you are feeling? Can you trust your own leadership? And I quickly want to show you a 3-part process to turn fear into faith. Part 1 is to feel it, right? So this can feel so frightening when we are feeling fear in our body, because it's like so uncomfortable. The automatic thing we want to do is run away from it. But I really encourage you, with the safety of somebody else holding you, if you need that, to actually feel what is arising in your body, even if it is for just a couple of minutes. If you are familiar with this work, and even though it feels uncomfortable, you're able to go through a longer practice of embodiment, find the space and time to do that. So you really meet what is there in the body. You allow that part of you to be seen rather than ignored. When we see the fear that exists within us, it creates liberation rather than avoidance. Allow yourself to feel the edges of that fear rather than bypassing it. Allow your body to speak. Nurture her through that fear. Bring in compassion as you move through that fear. Part 2, root into safety, right? So you've given yourself that experience of this fear coming up, not avoiding it, not bypassing it, getting support around that if it's feeling really, really big for you. And then really grounding yourself, right? You've done really powerful work by going into the fear. So now root yourself, ground yourself, go for a walk, breathe, eat something nourishing, anchor into your body. When we don't anchor into ourselves, into groundedness, what happens is that we go from seeing our fear, taking action, but we're missing the middle piece, which is integrating the fear, coming into groundedness, rootedness. We have to bring this piece in before taking action. And part 3 is choosing your truth and vision. Faith is the moment when you pick and choose your truth and the vision that you are expanding into over the immediate fear that is arising. When you choose your deepest truth and your deepest path, this is faith, not fear. Every time you say yes to your soul calling, every time you go on a live on Instagram, you send a newsletter, you press post on something that feels edgy in your body, you are saying yes to faith over fear. And I just invite you to close your eyes and to just connect with maybe a fear that is coming up for you at the moment. Maybe you know that there's something that you are being called to on your path. Closing your eyes and just locating that in your body. Where is it showing up? Where is it existing? Inviting in any protective allies, guardians into our space. Feeling protected. And if you can feel that that fear is present here now, it means that you're actually close to meeting an edge, a stretch. And that edge is where your power lives. And there is nothing here. It's not about being fearless. It's about calling in your faith. You can have deep faith in your path and also meet the fear. And I invite you to tune into what does it feel like in your body to be the woman who walks the path anyway, in spite of the fear. How does she feel? How does she hold herself? How does she breathe? The woman who walks anyway in faith, in full faith of her choices and her path. Yes, yes, yes. And from this place, what action might you take today? What action might you be taking in these next few weeks? And if fear has been stopping you and you want to get this deeper sense of your vision, your purpose, to embody that, to get clearer on it, I'd invite you to do my 4-part course, Activate the Healer Within You. There's actually a fear embodiment exercise within that will really, really support you as well. And if you already know that this is your work, you're meant to be supporting others in the coaching space, in the healing and growth space, then the Academy of Healing is a really profound, powerful journey into deeper leadership, deeper learning, deeper embodiment in your work, whether you are new to this or whether you are already guiding other people in some way. The early bird is closing soon. If you are interested in knowing more, check out the link in the show notes and put your application in. I'd love to hear more about you and your path and to see if this is the right fit for you. So much love. I hope you have a beautiful week and see you soon.